Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You reached the Boho Info Show. Good morning, Vietnam. All right, you guys know that I've been working on this case from the beginning to the end. It's been probably 3 days to a week since I posted some information on this Brian Laundrie case, right? Well, a lot of people in the nation may not know what's happening here locally here in Northport, and since I'm down here in Northport still checking out things, okay, there's been a lot of flip-flopping happening with the Northport police, with the three-letter agencies, etc., right? I knew from the beginning the whole thing was stinking. I was flagging it, you know what I'm saying, on the investigation and so on and so forth. Then we hear a bunch of YouTubers down here in Northport, evidently, covering the same case, giving their opinions, which is great because this is what this country is all about giving our opinions about what's going on with the case. Maybe sharing ideas, sharing information that might be valuable. But here's the thing. We're at a state and time where we have so much information at our fingertips that sometimes you don't even have to go in the field to get it. You know what I'm saying? And right now, I guess, as of today or yesterday, our governor of Florida has signed a bill trying to promote getting new police officers here in the state of Florida with a $5,000 bonus if they sign on with a contract or something like that. Anyway, so, it's a part of that shortage thing with everything else being short. But we're going to discuss more into this case because I found some very, very interesting information that not only did the three-letter agencies didn't get, but not one local YouTuber or even national YouTuber that covered this story with Brian Laundrie has found. Okay? Which tells me they're not self-proclaimed, they're not anybody. Okay? And I'm not saying this to boost my own ego or anything else. What I'm saying is, if you're going to investigate a case or do research on a case, do it better than the authorities. Do it better than anybody else out there. Look at all possibilities and prospects and see where they lie. Because here's the thing. One thing we can learn by national corruption, which is what's happening in our country right now, and they're reversing the money trails and the pedal trails and the human trafficking trails and everything else trails that's out there, okay, whatever can be is out there, then you have to do it on a local level the same way. That's what makes a good investigative reporter. I don't care if you're working for a network or if you have your own YouTube station or channel or anything else. That's what makes and breaks people on any kind of platform. I don't care if it's social media. I don't care if it's major media. I don't care if it's networking on major networks or anything else. That's why they need to hire me, because I'm better than anything they got. Anyway, just damn water over the dam on that one. Not saying I'd work for them. Here's the thing. Okay, so welcome to my show. We're going to cover some interesting, new, eye-popping, startling, weak for your stomach kind of information, okay, on the Brian Laundrie case. This is as of 10/26. I document all my stuff. So it shows proof of my tracking on the whole case and proof of my eligibility for that finder's fee on Brian and all that crap, but whatever. Here's the thing. Okay, on my show, we make no claims medically, legally, or otherwise. You take everything I say with a grain of salt, but do your own research. Maybe you research the same thing I do and find the exact same results. I don't know. That depends on how good of a researcher you are, okay? And then, or investigator, whichever. And then, like I say, we always put in our opinions in any shows that we do. So stay tuned. Get a paper and pencil, a pen, something to drink, and jot notes down throughout the show. When the show is done, I will post it over in Twitter and YouTube. And I will put my show in there accordingly on anything that is needed. And I'm not going to give you, in this show, I'm not going to give you the actual text kind of links. You're going to have to listen to my voice to get the voice links of where I get my information from, okay? So let me check and see if we got anybody in here before I start. Very good. All right. So, all right. So I had one day off. It was not even a whole day off because I had to help my military dad a little bit, amongst other things. Get myself ready for my next work week because you know me, I work full week. So here's some interesting stuff. First, before we get into that, let's go back to this. Okay, so, here's to catch up, everybody. Okay, so the last we heard from my show that, they had what? They found some bones. They found a backpack and they found a notepad, right? Okay, since that time period, now they found a water bottle. They found some other stuff out there. And now we have people in the park actually going through the park and actually fine-tooth combing the park now. Some protesters or whoever else out there that are looking and finding things. Here's the thing. Here's how incapable the Northport police are. And I'm great that they have a spokesperson for that department because I'd be really embarrassed to be a captain for that department right now for refusing to investigate all evidence. What I mean by that is that they uncovered this water bottle. This water bottle was actually physically matched up by these trailers that went out into the thing. I guess they're part of protesters or the trailers, and they matched them up to the exact kind of water bottle that Gabby had in the van. Okay? Exacto. Now, why on earth? I want to peel this question back like a banana peel and I'm going to start calling on the table our agencies because this whole case stinks like my septic tank. Okay? And I know exactly what kind of crap this is, okay? I'm going to get to that in my show. But if we look at the water bottle, and they took a picture of it, okay, and they took down the trailers, whoever found it, their names and whatever, and that's all they took. They didn't take the water bottle in. They didn't do any kind of fingerprint testing on it. They did not do any internal testing on any kind of liquids that was inside or even DNA from the saliva of the bottle that might have been sucked off of it. So I'm calling on the carpet the Northport police. You failed. Now, what is wrong with the Northport police? I mean, is this a seriously corrupt department of police officers? Governor Sanchez, I'm sorry. You don't need to be signing over any $5,000 gimmick to get more police officers in Florida. When we have police officers like this, they can't perform their job. It's a waste of tax-paying dollars. If you can, for the taxpayers, I know I'm kind of screwing this together a little bit, but why on earth? I mean, how many? I'm getting on my pedestal. I know I've got to calm down a little bit. Why on earth do we have to pay $5,000? I mean, yes, I know, there's a thing with COVID, and yeah, we're short, and people are not taking their vaccination, and all this crap, whatever. Okay, I get it. And that's how you got to get them in, because we're short. Okay, I get it. What you need to do, Sanchez, is first clean out your police departments in Florida. All of them. Every county, every city, everything. Clean them out for the corruption, like you do the swamp, like deep state, anything else. That's what you need to do. Okay? Then you make a training program that trains these police officers properly on uncovering any kind of evidence and doing testing. and not denying any evidence, like this water bottle. Once you get that situated, then you train new ones with the incentive that they go through the new training program with that 5,000. I know what he's doing. He's panicking right now. Okay. The governor's panicking because he's short on a place in Florida. I understand that. Okay. But there's other derivatives. There's patriots in Florida. You haven't activated them. Activate them first before you start activating a bunch of these yahoos at $5,000 that may not be able to even perform their job properly, like the Northport police. Okay. Imagine if everybody did a calculation on how many police officers were in Florida, and you times that times 5,000, that's coming out of your tax saving. That's coming out of the taxpayer's back pocket. Santos, you just did a no there. Okay, I'm just letting you know. Fix it right now. Make it amended where you only do it with the people go through the proper new training. That's it. Nothing else. And I don't care if they were police officers for 30, 50, 90 million years. Okay, they have to go through a new training program in Florida with the patriots helping you out. I get so irritated and pissed off with the lack of common sense in Florida, with the politics, with just the police departments, everything. It's like, okay, yeah, we want the public to catch us. We want us to show you that we're idiots. Yeah, we want to show you that we're stupid. Yeah, we want to show you. We don't want to show you any evidence. We want you to do our job for us. It's like that. I'm sorry, but yeah, I have anxiety right now on this case because I've been working so hard on it for a long time. And then when stupid stuff like this comes through, we're trying to bring in more of them. No, that just irritates me further. You got to fix the dam first before you fill it up again. You know what I mean? All right. So let's get back to the case. You guys know I'm in Florida. Right now I happen to be in Northport because I'm dealing with this case. And what I'm about to tell you guys on the show has to do with the Brian Laundrie case that not one Northport YouTuber has covered. And I can call out names. I will start calling out names if they don't give me credit for my information. And them not having the information I'm giving them. But also the regular media, the TV stations in Florida. Now, I've already been called out on WFLA in Tampa for calling me a troll. I already fixed their wagon because I had a viewer come on and say, oh, no, she's not a troll. So I posted that message up there so he got the message because I know he reviews my channels just as much. You got to understand something, how the media works. If the media can't get their information and get more of it, to make their ratings go up, they start feeding off of all the YouTube channels, the people that really do the hard work and investigation, okay? And that's why I say, if they want me to do an interview with them, I'd be glad to. And I don't need to have a PhD, an MD, or any special certification of any sort. I'm very good at what I do. I should be a specialist in my field, honestly. And someone should hire me. But, hey, I'm not putting myself out there to be hired because I already got a job at the moment. Anyway, and no, it's not in this field. All right, back to the Laundrie situation here. So we're talking about the distance on if you've seen my past shows, they're in YouTube. Okay, if those who didn't see all my back shows, look in YouTube and Twitch TV, which the link is in YouTube where the Twitch TV is, on all the compiling of all my shows. It gives you the detailed information from the beginning to currently. And there was one show, either the last one or the one before, I don't know if I think it was in YouTube, but I'm not sure, where I triangulated where Brian would be. Now, everybody's questioning the parents and the father and the timelines within the park being open on a Monday. And then all of a sudden, Tuesday morning, they find body parts and, Brian's miscellaneous. I'm going to call everything out right now on that. Here's the thing. I planted the seed and I did the homework on the research and the investigation of triangulating their house to the reserve to the creek area. It's a triangle. For my past shows, I told you it was connected to a secret society called the Rosicrucians, which is also a triangle, which is also a triangle that's on Gabby's wrist. Now, parents may not know anything going on with secret societies or who they talk to in them or anything else. That's how secretive. Parents wouldn't know none of this stuff. No 3-letter agency would know anything about this, usually. Definitely not the Northport police unless they themselves were involved, okay? I mean, everything in this case is all messed up. You know what I'm saying? I flagged the whole case. But let's get into something interesting. As I'm talking, you're looking at a picture here of the reserve where Brian's body was. They said it was partially submerged, blah, blah, blah. A lot of you already know that. I've looked at the area of how much submersion, okay? And it's not like it's in a river, okay? It's on a side. The other thing is that there was a Dr. Erin Kimball on News Nation Now, and she said that the parts were not able to find out what his cause of death was, which means they can't tell if an animal ate it. They can't tell if it was a death by somebody murdering him or anything else yet. Okay, this has already been, what, another week almost, right? After his their findings, okay? Now, will they be able to? I don't know. I don't think so. Here's why. I don't think they're not going to give you that kind of information for this simple reason is I think he's been close to the 3 to 4 weeks worth of him being dead. Now, at any point in time on a body, from my checking things out and researching a little bit, usually if a animal gets to a body and eats it, okay, they got to see whether the thing was digested and then pooped out kind of thing, you know, like a gator maybe or something, or if it was just mauled to death like a panther, you would see scratch marks on the bone. Evidently, they can't identify nothing, okay, according to this Dr. Erin. So, and she's an anthropologist, by the way. So they say there's no cause or manner of death that they can supposedly say on this body, right? Which I'm like, bullshit. Pardon my French, but it is what it is, you know? All right, so with that, knowing all that stuff, and if you're not caught up with the whole case, you can look at my past shows. You can go check that out. Here's what I found that's very interesting. Remember in my earliest shows, I said look down the list of all of Brian's followers on all social medias. And I think it was either on, what's that one? Hang on. I got to look at it again. Give me a minute. I got to look at my notes. Bear with me. Have a sip of your coffee a minute. All right, on TikTok, his account, I think it was. In that account, there was a follower in there that seemed right up his alley because of his darkness from his books that he was reading and some of the drawings that he was making. So the follower I kind of checked out here recently. I don't have that. That's in my past shows. You'll have to go look in his old TikTok account. I believe it was in that one or the Snapchat or Pinterest, one of those. But there was one that I found that had like a dark past link to him, to this other guy. And he was linked to his belief systems with the Church of Satan. I'm like, I didn't think nothing of it, because I'm like, well, that's usually big city stuff. And, here it is only, for those who don't know population, in Northport, it's like 500,000. So it's not like a big population area. Right? So I'm like, all right, I didn't think, I just put that on the back burner. I really didn't get into that trail yet. Didn't see the need at the moment. But now that I'm seeing more and more red flags popping up with this whole case, and this whole case is not handled properly, okay, from everyone, legally standpoint wise, I went down that hole. And this is what I found, and you're going to hear the exclusive on it, that not one 3-letter agency, not one YouTuber in Northport, or anywhere else in the United States will cover on this case. I found a connection to see whether if Northport had something called the Church of Satan, right? And I'm like, well, I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? Let's just check it out, right? So I'm going to re-go over my footsteps of where and when. Oops, not Port Charlotte. Sorry, Northport. We're at Northport. Okay. We're going to go over the footsteps because I want to show you how I've searched for this to find the proof. Because you're going to have all these media bullshits on TV telling you something else. Okay. And YouTubers, the same thing. So, here we go. Let me find it. There we go. So there is right here in Florida, there is an actual Florida chapter. Those who can get on Facebook that isn't censored, okay, you can find it on Facebook, but you also can find it regular. Now, I went to the regular site. And I'm a full Bible thumping Christian person. I go by the power of God and His glory and His might, and He gave me the shield, and He's like, you know what, you're Gabriel, go get him, So yeah. So here it is. We're gonna expose it for what it is, right? Now, just to let you guys know something, before I open this up. This is not for the weak heart. If you are, here's the thing. For those who are religious and know about dealing with a holy war, okay, put your armor on, okay? Because what I'm going to show you guys is to show you who your enemy is, okay? Now, I know for a fact the Church of Satan has a link to the Democratic Party. For those who actually researched a lot of stuff dealing with the Democrats and Hillary and all them things and stuff, okay, right? So here we go. And yeah, you're gonna love this connection. You're gonna love this connection, because it's the truth. The truth's coming out, okay? The truth's coming out, and we're dealing with a holy war on a local level. Just giving you guys some heads up, okay? It's a holy war on a local level. Now, the state of Florida, like I said, has this Church of Satan. There's chapters in Florida. I think there's 3 or 4 different chapters. And you can go into their main site and you can check out all their stuff, right, of what they're about. And you see some of the stupid fundraising stuff that they do. I mean, it's nasty. It's nasty. I got educated. Because you got to know who these people are. These are your enemies, people. For those who are reading the Bible, you know what I'm saying? Those who are Christians or if they believe in faith of any sort, you know what I'm saying, like that. Okay. So yeah, it is what it is. Okay. It's bad. It's bad. But you know what? I think this what was Brian's situation. I think Brian possibly could be getting into something like this. because he had a follower, and I think he talked to that follower, honestly. I really do. Now, let me go back to that a minute here. Go back here. And for those who did research on Hillary and Hamas and oh gosh, you heard about that with the adrenochrome and the the Church of Satan somewhere else, of all that stuff. You would never think it would hit a local level, right? Never. These are like big city and connected to the politicians only, right? Yeah, right. Just to give you guys also a heads up, when I was looking at all this stuff, yeah, see, they got a lot of information. You can just do a regular search on this stuff. But all in all, anyway, I found there was a chapter that was closest to home that was in Sarasota, I believe it was, or Tampa. No, Tampa. And it's not too far away from that Fort place that they went searching. Okay. Yeah. And I want to give you guys a heads up on something else here too, real quick. I did a political research on their family, and they're Democrats, on the Laundries. Okay. So, and I found in the past, which I had on past shows, that the Laundries, not them themselves, but other family members in the United States, gave funds to the Democratic Party on certain politicians. You can go to opensecrets.org. That's opensecrets.org, and find the contributions that the Laundrie family gave to the Democrats. They didn't give it to the Republicans. They gave it to the Democrats. Okay. Also, too, for those who are on Telegraph, I did find connections that the White Hats are watching this case, and this was like one of those situations that they were dealing with, I guess, as well as other stuff. And that's all I can say about that right now. Anyway, let me go here and just let you know, you got to be careful on the web, just like anything else. Your enemies are in your social media. Okay. Now, we know Brian had many social media accounts. Okay. Many different social media accounts. The Church of Satan was actually posted in Facebook. Here's the thing with Facebook. Facebook is censoring all the people that believe in the Bible, but they're not censoring anyone that's satanic. So, of course, the Church of Satan is going to be on Facebook, right? The same thing with Twitter. Okay, the same thing with any other social media. They're allowing all the Democrats and all the Satanists to be on social media. Okay. But anybody that's on the, that is Bible believing and Republican, they're not. Don't you see the connections there so far? I mean, there's a lot more to this, but there's more. Okay. Give me a minute. So, okay, and this Church of Satan is connecting to a lot of movie stars. It's connecting to California, the movie stars, the music industry, politicians, okay, all kinds of politicians, kids, okay. Need I say more? Okay. This shows you the proof of everything I'm showing you so far. Now, they have a chapter of the Satanic Temple. They call it the Satanic Temple here in Florida at the Gulf Coast. It's a Gulf Coast chapter of the Satanic Chapel. So I want to go into that. Whoops, not that one here. Let's go back here. But I wanted to show you this on social media so you guys can check it out. You hear my verbiage of where to find this information. Okay. I'm not going to give you physical links. I'm giving you verbal. Okay. So we're going to look at Gulf Coast. Satanic Temple. It'll go right, hopefully. Whoops. Well, maybe not. Let's see. Yeah, my fingers move faster than my verbiage sometimes. Sorry. All right, so there. That's the one I'm looking at. All right, so right here is the Gulf Coast Satanic Temple. It is on Facebook. I can't get on Facebook because I've been banned or censored, okay, as they call it. So many times it's unreal. But anyway, let's go back to that. Let's see here. So this is located in Tampa, Florida. So if you look at the distance, remember I tell you everything to triangle everything from everything, right? You triangle where DeSoto was in Tampa over from the Satanic Temple. You can look at the mileage. Remember, I told you to look at how long it takes, how many minutes, how many days, whatever, from point A to point B. That's another one of those things, okay? So they actually came down and met in Northport. Now, what gets more interesting is I was checking into the Freemasons because I'm going to show you something. The Freemasons have different branches in them, okay? And I'm going to show you. Now, remember all this information. That's why I tell you get a piece of paper and write all this down on anything I'm telling you, okay? All right, so Northport has a Freemason Lodge, number 406, okay? Now, here's what's really interesting. I hope you're ready for this. They meet every Wednesday, okay? Or no, I mean, not every Wednesday, the second and fourth Wednesday in Northport, Florida. The Freemasons meet in Northport, Florida, okay? I'll put that right here. And it's lodge number 406. If it comes up, it may not come up. All right, but anyway, you hear my voice, okay? That's 406 on the lodge. You're all there? Okay, good. All right. Now, in Northport, Florida, this lodge of the Freemasons meets the second and the fourth Wednesday. Okay, the second and fourth Wednesday. Now, you're not going to believe where they meet. Okay, right here's their thing. Let me see if I can move it up. There you go. Northport, Florida. District 16, that's where they meet, 406. Okay, there's my proof. Now, you're not going to believe where they meet. I'm going to pull up a Google map. Hopefully it'll come up on you guys. If not, then I'll just verbally tell you because I don't know how my computer is going to react here. And usually I try to show you guys maps if I'm able to. So if I'm able to, I will. But if not, then, you know, we'll do it the other way. But this is where they meet at 5900 South Biscayne Drive in Northport, Florida, 34288. Guess where that's at? Farley Funeral Homes and Crematory in Northport. Right? That's where the Freemasons meet their meeting at. Now, isn't that interesting on how they dealt with Gabby's body and how they're dealing with Brian's body, right? No funeral. Remember, no funeral for Brian. They didn't want no funeral for Brian. Yeah. Here's the thing. How many Northport police belong to the Freemasons? Okay. How many 3-letter agencies belong to the Freemasons? Especially the ones that were personally investigating this case. Okay. Here's the thing. Okay, now that you guys got that, let me show you the address. There you go. Right there. That's where it's at. Okay, that's where the Freemasons meet. Now, let me show you something else. Are you guys ready? Remember in my past shows, I told you guys that the Freemasons have many branches in it, right? And I told you which one I was looking at. Give me a minute. I got to load it up. Give me a minute. See, I don't think they want a lot of this out, so they're being very particular at the moment. All right. So we know that Brian was at the river, right? He supposedly died there. They can't say how it's done, right? Anthropologists don't know how it was done. They don't know how he died. They don't know how he was murdered, if he was murdered, even if he was murdered, okay? They don't know nothing about it. They can't figure it out. They don't know, okay? And now the father's saying that, no, we're not going to have a funeral for Brian. Okay. I mean, what don't you guys get on this case? Are you connecting the dots yet? I mean, think about it, okay? I mean, I'll keep going down that rabbit hole if you want me to go ahead and start accusing yet. But we got some, okay. My gut feeling, I don't know if it's a direct source from God, psychic, whatever it is, okay? But something is telling me that this was a inside job on the whole 9 yards of the whole case, okay? And it was interesting to see Dog pull out. I was going to say bull, but Dog pull out fast. Because he probably saw what I'm seeing now back then, right? I'm just saying. Now there's more. There's a lot more. If you think about everything so far, and I want you to kind of digest everything on this show that I'm telling you so far, even if we have to have a couple minutes silence while I'm in between my information for you guys, I want you to really comprehend what I'm telling you guys and really digest what I'm saying. Okay. It doesn't take anybody any more time to go out into the creek area to look for anything else. Whether someone's planting the evidence or, whatever, okay? The anthropologist does an examination and they still can't find what's going on with him, what he died of, okay? That's a cover. Plain and simple, that's a cover. You'll know if an animal got to him because you can tell by a panther with scratches on the bone. Or a jaw breaking a bone. You know what I mean? Same thing with any kind of, if there was tissue left, you'll know if there's, a tissue ripped, torn, broken, you know what I'm saying? Even if there wasn't tissue and just the bones, that's what they're saying. Remember, they said preliminary report was, oh, okay, we just found a skull. Then later, all of a sudden, you're hearing bones, right? Now, here's the thing. A lot of you guys that do or do not know about Freemasons, there's an actual branch called Skull and Bones. Okay? That's connected to who? The Bushes and et cetera and so on, right? But there's other branches also called, one of them that I'm looking at that has a connection with this case is the Rosicrucians. The Skull and Bones and the Rosicrucians. They're probably two of the most dangerous branches there are in this. And maybe Scottish too. Okay. Give me a minute here. So I'm going to show you here. I know this is kind of in weird layman's terms of what it is, because some people that are reading the Bible a lot, they're not looking at this as a danger or knowing their enemy to protect and guard them with the Holy Spirit around them, and, you know, knowing their enemy to protect themselves, right? So you got to know, you know, it's like playing football. You got to go and know to play the offense to know how to do the defense, right? And vice versa. It's the same thing when it comes to a holy war, whether it's done nationally with our politics right now that's happening, or on a local level now, which is what they call an FF, right? So, you know, it's, you know what I'm saying? You know, we talk about all these things because it's something that people need to know exists. Okay? I'm not saying you to go believe into it. That's on you if you want to do it. Okay? But it exists. It is in real life. It's currently happening right now. You know what I'm saying? So we have to look at that. And then we're going to look at the Gematria code on this too. Okay? Which is really going to be really, 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 really interesting. Okay? But yeah. And then if you guys also want to check into Josh Taylor, which is a spokesman of the Northport Police, he's on Twitter. Go to Josh Taylor's Twitter, okay, and look at all his little videos of stuff that they looked at. And if they're saying, oh, you know, it's wet there and they're using buggies, they were using only the buggies on the trail. I didn't see them in the water. Those buggies that they have are for water. They should be in the water. Did you see them in the water on any media, whether it was on TV or social? I didn't see it. Did you? If you did, let me know. All you see them is going down trails. Okay. Remember the helicopter that was in the air and they were spotting these people on the buggies and they were going through that whole area, the reserve in certain areas? I didn't see them in water then even, right? Did you? No. If you did, let me know, because I'd be glad to look at that footage. But, you know, these are the things that you got to kind of comprehend and put in the back of your storage bank there of your brain. Right? Because these little things, these little details are the ones that are coming back to surface on top again. It's like a full circle. Remember the serpent and the full circle thing? Some of you guys know what I'm talking about. It's kind of like that thing. It's going to bite them in the ass. Tits. Assets. Yeah, I know. I got to be careful with my verbiage. I should have what they call a swear bottle, right? I really should. I wonder, well, would you guys want me to do a swear bottle? I probably need that. I don't do it a lot. I'm not trying to anyway. Right? All right. So, okay, hopefully this will open up because the other one wasn't opening up better. If you guys got any questions, put it in any questions, comments, or even links to anything. Put it in the comment area for me. I'll pick it up and I'll look at it in a little bit, and I will do a shout out then and all that too. But getting back to this, okay, the Freemasons have several different branches, and I'm very good at what I'm doing on all this stuff. But one of the branches is Rosicrucians. Okay. The Rosicrucians are a mixture of like Freemasons and a little religious order and all this stuff. And there's different degrees on everything and so on and so forth. Right. I'm going to see if I can pop this up so you guys can see this. Maybe not. I don't know. Give me a minute here. There. Can you guys see that better? There, I'll slide it that way. So, this is their basic map. the Freemasons map of their different branches. I mean, this is how deep state can get corrupt. Okay, you can have, remember, I tell you everything, whether it's politics, religion, or anything else in the world, there's good sides and there's bad sides to everything. Everything. You just got to know where the bad is and where the good is to draw that line to stay on the good, right? Well, evidently, Brian really liked the bad side because of all the books he was reading and the influence that he was getting, even off social media, with that one strain of that particular guy that had the, being a follower of Brian, that had the connection with the Church of Satan, and then also then with the Rosicrucians. Now, with this here, they have on the right side, all the different branches. You'll see a bunch of lettering here, and I know this is small. You probably might not be able to see any of that. But in there, they have like the Knights Templar. They have the Prince of something or another here. Let's see, what else they got? Different types of masters, and so on and so forth, right? And then there's different orders and stuff over here. So they got the Order of the Knights, which is Knights Templar up top here. They have the Greek, which is the Malta. And then they have the red something or another here. And then the Royal Arch thing there. And then there's some here in the middle here. And there's a lot of them, okay? There's a lot of them. It's a structure of the Freemasons. Anyway, part of this Freemason stuff, okay, there is a branch in there. And I should do a show on each one of these branches so you guys recognize what these all are, and what they believe in and their trails or whatever they do. Okay. But there's one in here that is Rosicrucians. Okay. So there's rights, orders, degrees, history. You can look at all this stuff. It's in Wikipedia. Okay. Very easy to get to. So there's the Order of the Scotland, the Ancient Order of Scottish Rites, the Knights Templar, which is connected to what? The Vatican, the Red Cross, Constantine. I mean, there's on and on and on. They go into Canada, they go into Scotland, they go into all countries of the world. All countries of the world, okay? This is a global situation. The Freemasons are global, okay? All right, hang on a minute. Let me look up the other one here. Now, here's what's really interesting. They also have, just to give you guys heads up, even for your kids, to protect their kids, they actually have a Freemason branch for kids, which for the boys in a way, called the Order of the Knights of Pythagoras, which is for boys only from the age of 8 to 18. And it's in the Prince Hall of the Freemasons. And then they have some for the girls, which will be Eastern Star, even for the ladies or whatever, for the girls. You know, here's the thing. I mean, I brushed up against all these when I was younger. I had someone trying to get me into Job's daughter, okay, when I was younger. I mean, really young. Then I had another one with Rainbow Girls. That's another one. They wanted me to get involved with that. I didn't get into any of it because I didn't like the way they're, and this is before I had real religious structure. This was before me even knowing what the organization was about. I just felt it was wrong in my soul and my gut, and I didn't go with it. You know, I never wanted to go into it. The Organization of Triangles and Incorporated. Now, this is what's really interesting here. This could be the situation with Gabby, okay? The triangle is located only in New York. So it's an Organization of Triangles, Inc. And this was from the young ladies from age to 20, 21, and then you could actually teach in that, I guess. But it was a triangle located in New York City, an organization for young ladies between 10 and 21. Now, this could be Gabby's thing, as well as also, because remember, she had the tattoo of the triangle on her wrist. right? So let me pull this up so you guys can see what this is. But New York, remember, Gabby is from New York. Okay, Gabby's from New York. So imagine having two different point views of a pull from the Freemason branches. And let's say Gabby came from this one, right? Okay, or her family. Okay, being that it's in New York and she had that triangle on her hand or arm or wrist area, sorry. Okay. You can read about that one. That's out of the Grand Lodge of New York. Okay. Now remember, also too, New York is a high hit prime area for, and especially that area for human trafficking. Okay. So yeah, think about that. And connect the dots with that one with Gabby's little triangle on her wrist. Okay. Now we're going to look at also too, the Rosicrucians. And the reason why I'm looking at the Rosicrucians, hang on. I got to move you over. Here we go. All right. So write that one down. That was what order of the triangle. I have to write that one down. That's for Gabby. And then the Rosicrucians I'm pointing to on Brian. And the reason why I'm pointing to that one is because of the connection with his social media account with that particular guy with his dark essence of following Brian that had the connection to the Church of Satan. And the Church of Satan actually is connected to the Rosicrucians, which is then connected to the Freemason branch or the Freemasons. So to understand the structure, I'll have to put this on paper maybe for you guys here. So I'll have to draw it on paper here. So we have Freemasons, order triangle, and then we have on the other side the Rosicrucians. So we have a feminine side of the triangle, which is could be right or left, I don't know. And then on the other side, the opposite side, is the Rosicrucians. So something like kind of like that. I don't know if you guys can see that. Okay. Either way, these are all different types of branches that men, women, kids, girls, boys, whatever can belong to. Right? So, hang on. Why don't let's do this? Okay. So the Rosicrucians I'm pointing to with the connection to the Church of Satan. Okay. And remember, the Church of Satan is not only limited to the actual Rosicrucian branch that is connected to the Freemasons, okay, but it also can be connected to other branches of the Freemasons, like Opus Dei, which is also connected to the Vatican, but also is also connected to that. Also, the same thing with the what do you call it? The I study this pretty well. It's just got so much of it in my head. I got to pull out Knights Templar. Knights Templar. Okay. So I wanted to go over. So, okay. So the Rosicrucian Order, or the Omorc, OMORC. Let me write that down. You guys write that down. AMORC. Now, I'm going to pop this up so you can see what the website looks like. You can do your own research so you know what I'm talking about. I've already pulled up the Church of Satan so you know what that website looks like and where to go. I've pulled up the Order of the Triangle. Same way, you know where to go for that to your research. I'm also pulling up right now the Rosicrucians. Okay. And I know I'm going to get people out there saying, well, all these groups are not bad. Well, right. Everything has a good and bad side to it. Depends on what you do with it. Okay. It's on you. Okay. So the Rosicrucian orders are ORMERC. Okay. Now, you can go to that site. You probably go to Wikipedia if you want to, whatever. You can read what they're all about. Okay. It's good to know your enemy, I guess you'd say, to know what they're capable of. I'll put it that way. Okay. But all right, so we're going to look at this here. I want to show you something. So stay tuned. All right, give me a minute. Oops, did it do it right or not? Let's see. So anyway, I found a link that the Rosicrucians were meeting up on Facebook again in Northport, Florida. So here's my thing. I think we need to look at an alternative suspect in the Gabby case, which is the fella and people that are connected to the Freemasons. Now, I haven't done a search yet on, Gabby's dad, if he's a Freemason or a Rosicrucian or a Church of Satan. Maybe he's a Satanist. I don't know. He could be. I don't know. I haven't gone down that hole yet. Okay. But see that little triangle, kind of like what Gabby has on her arm, right? Brian makes a lot of these drawings, but then tells Gabby to put them on as tattoos on her body, right? I'm just saying, okay? Yeah, it gets better. Hang on. So anyway, here at, let me see where they had it posted here. So this was at, this is very interesting. See, I can't get into Facebook, but it says here that they had a monthly car show. But it says here on 5668 Tulsa Boulevard, Northport, Florida, the Rosicrucian Order met supposedly Friday at 7 p.m. the Green at Northport City Hall, Northport, Florida. So the Rosicrucians now are linked to Northport City Hall, right? Which is what? Next to what? The Northport Police Station. Now, it's going to take us time again, but now we got to look at all the police officers. Are any of them members of the Freemasons? Is any of the three-letter agencies involved with the Freemasons? If none of them are, which I doubt, usually a three-letter agency person is involved with a Freemason. Northport Police, though, I don't know. They could be. Being that they're a very supposedly close-knit community and knowing where the Farley nursing home or Farley funeral home is, I almost guarantee there's at least one on the Northport Police payroll. At least one that's a Freemason. Whether they're Rosicrucian or something else, I don't know. I don't know which branch they're from. But if the Rosicrucians came down right along with the Church of Satan, okay, to Northport, this whole thing is all interconnected with the Northport City Hall, which is connected right next door to what? The police, Northport Police. Okay. So you're going to say, okay, well, knowing that all this stuff is connected to Brian and everything else, why aren't they giving us a cause and effect, on the death? Okay. Well, this is where we get into their business now. We get into their coding. Remember, I tell you guys I do a lot of coding, a lot of symbolism. That's what's going to be their downfall. Okay. What I'm about to show you is an encryption system based on Hebrew, Jewish, Zionist, whatever kind of variational code that they've been going by since the beginning of time. This deals with pre-programming. It deals with their encryptions of messages to their own elite. It deals with a lot of big stuff, okay? So what you're seeing is something called the Gematria code. And it's a numeric system, kind of like a binary system for those computer nerds out there. But this is different. It's not like the binary system. It's different. This is done in English. We're going to do it and check everything out and all this stuff to see what's happening. But right now, Brian Laundrie comes up with an English situation of 128. So there's English, full reduction, reverse, and reverse full. Okay. So we're going to be looking at as much as of this we can. So let's look at being that they're Jewish. We'll go on all. I'm not saying that, Brian is Jewish or anything like that, but to know the enemy, remember I told you in Israel, there is a good and bad part of Israel, good and bad part of Jewish belief system, good and bad of any kind of other belief system out there in the world, okay? So we're going to look at it all. So this is very interesting. Wow. Wow, he's got some very interesting numbers. Wow. Very interesting numbers. Satanic number. That's the one I was looking for. So 678, which is a 3. Very interesting. Okay. So, all right. So you're seeing a lot of the coding the way I'm doing it, I guess, in those ways. Let's see. I want to see something else a minute. Base ciphers. Let's go that way. Okay, full reduction. So let's go this way on that. All right. They even have Kabbalah in here, which is very interesting. For those who don't know anything about Kabbalah, it's like more to the source of the actual Bible. You know what I'm saying? But there's a little variation, same thing with the different Jewish texts. Mathematically, let's see. Greek, English, okay. So let me go back to this again. You guys still with me? Let me check. I'm going to check comments while that's reloading a minute. So, all right, let's look at, I'm going to check your comments right now. Let's see. Yes, there was a gun found over at, okay, this is messages for Carol. Carol, there was a gun found over at the Fort Place there near Tampa. There was someone with a bunch of friends that was playing in the area, and they found it. It was wrapped up with rope, like a plastic kind of marine rope type thing. It looks like the actual hand part where the revolver was, looks like electrical tape was wrapped that way. It looked like somebody ditched it, definitely. What else here? Okay, and then Carol says, I'm not sure the death on the movie set was an accident. There was a connection which needed to be explored. Yeah, I haven't even dealt with that yet. I know people want me to get into it. I'm going to tell you this. I can almost probably, without even looking into that case, the thing that Carol's asking about is the what do you call it? The accident on the movie set where the handgun went off, and it was supposedly with blanks, but it killed the other person at the other end. I can almost say that was definitely the same kind of scenario that we're looking at here. Okay, the same kind of scenario. Okay. Meaning that it connects to the Freemasons, it connects to, the deep state, everything else kind of thing. Okay. I haven't even gotten into it. I can probably confirm what I'm probably saying without me even looking into it. Let's see. Also, Carol also asked, I'm not sure what Brian Laundrie killed Gabby Peto would be holding info in no reason. The reason why, Carol, here's my opinion on it. On this, if they did hold the evidence, it's because they're protecting their butts, because they themselves have dipped their own hands in the Freemasons. They might be part of the Rosicrucians as well as other branches of the Freemasons to cover up things, okay, for other Freemasons and other people connected to the Freemasons. It's kind of like washing each other's hands in a non-political sense, okay? And the motive is to protect themselves, okay? To protect themselves with information. Information equals money, okay? Remember in the beginning of the case for Gabby and Brian, remember they said that supposedly they've taken a hard drive from Brian's computer? Well, what's on that hard drive? Was that hard drive part of that January 6th situation or 9th or whatever it was? Is that also part of some of the hard drives that might have information dealing with some crap with all the other politicians and crap that's going on out there? I don't know. But it's awful funny we don't hear any more about it, right? But at the same time, here's the other thing, okay? If the FBI people don't want you to hear their information or don't want to give you any information for no reason, it's because they're holding information because they're protecting someone. They're protecting their own ass. They're protecting someone that might be part of their Freemason clique. Okay? Or a politician. Remember, information equals money. Information is more valuable than money is. Okay? Why? Because according to Freemason belief says that they always want to have some skeleton in the closet that protects themselves so that you won't do wrong. Same thing with vice versa. Now look at the situation with the Laundries. They got a lot of dirty laundry, right? But did they protect themselves? Maybe. Think about it. What's going on with the whole Laundrie case is the same exact scenario that a Freemason would do. Okay? Just think about that a minute. Do your research on it. All right, let's see what other questions anybody has in here. It says, I believe Laundries have a service, just not publicity. Here's the thing. If you did your homework, you'll find out that the Laundries are worth $5 million according to their little juice companies that they have. Okay? Now, Freemasons, you got to have money in order for you to be a Freemason because it's not cheap to become a member. Okay? Their membership is extremely expensive. It's like $1,000 a year, every year. Now you got to go through all the training programs. These books are very expensive. They're like really high-end culinary books that cost like starting at $100 on up. I have gone through culinary background with a high-end books. I know how expensive books can be. Okay? I've also got other educational books that are very expensive. That's worth a few $100s. You can't buy any of these Freemason books usually on the open web. Some of the higher end, more protected books of their own secrets, you can only get through their organization. Their cheapest one is about $500. Okay. If that gives you a perspective. Remember, information is more valuable than money. Okay. Because even if someone says, well, I don't really have any information, it's the smallest little detail that's worth that multi-million dollars. Because later it comes out. It's like the skeleton in the closet. See? All right. Let's see what else. I thought for a while those kids were followed. I think it was a serial killer. You know, it's a possibility on that one. You could be right on that, because here's the thing. If you trail the Freemasons, you got to look at where the Freemasons were located. Remember, in Utah, there's a major Grand Lodge in Utah, I believe it was, that I tracked. Okay. You've got to look at every state, what the closest Freemason branch was on each of their locations throughout all their different travels in the United States. Not limiting to the United States, but also in Canada as well as in Mexico. Okay. At the same time, you've got to look at the Rosicrucians. Rosicrucians are all over the globe. They're not just, in the United States. These Rosicrucians, they're probably one of the more predominant groups out there that are throughout the globe. Okay. I'm just saying, follow the trails like a money trail, guys. Follow the trail like a money trail. All right, here. Let's see. It's not conclusive, but FBI keeps quiet, suggesting that other stuff is going on. New death in Wyoming. FBI has no release COD of what that person is either. Okay. Again, connect the dots. You know what I'm saying? There was a revolver found in a creek that suggests that he was shot. No findings released on the gun. Okay. So if he was shot, was he shot from that Freemason? Was that Freemason part of the Northport police? That's why they screwed up the whole case. Was that part of the Rosicrucians, part of the Church of Satan? Okay. You got to understand something. The Rosicrucians have a good and bad side just as much as the Freemasons do. It depends on where you go with it. Okay. That's on your own free will. The Rosicrucians can dip their little hands into the Church of Satan. Okay. And they could be out there as a serial killer. And propose and be a Northport cop, or be a Rosicrucian, or be a Freemason, or be, any of these people. And they're not going to just stop in their own hometown. They're going to go national. They're going to go global, because they have the ties with the Freemasons, and they have the ties with the Rosicrucians, and they have the ties with the Church of Satan. It's all over the globe, guys. All three of these groups I'm talking about are all over the globe. They're easily traveled and easily accepted in all countries. Okay. Carol's saying Rosicrucians are a Christian spiritualist group with no connections to the Freemasons. Yes, there is an order out of the Freemasons. I don't know if it's the Grand Lodge or the what's the other one? Scottish Rite. I believe they accept the Rosicrucians under. It's not like a predominant branch that you can look up under Freemasons. It's like an outer branch that you got to look into. Let's see. What else here? Also, let's see. I think it says here, I think Brian killed her and we have a serial killer on loose per action of FBI seem to be a ladder. Right. Okay. Regular post picture location where they were staying, where they were going. Brian's mother is reportedly a Catholic. Okay. Well, I don't care, what religion they are, but, even so, a Catholic can become a Freemason, okay, a Baptist, minister, whatever kind of freaking background you are, you can become a Freemason of any sort. Now, whether she was now a woman, if she was a Freemason, has to go under the Order of the Star, I believe, which is only for females. You can't mix in any of these groups in the United States, males and females together in a Freemason group. You cannot do that. If you're in England, you can. But in America, you can't. Or any other nation, as far as I know, you can't. You have to go in predominant male or female type Freemasons groups. If the mother was a Freemason, she would be under the Order of the Star, which is for the females. If it was the husband, which is Chris Laundrie, it would actually be the regular Freemason group, which then at that point in time, he can go into any of the other branches, which would include the Rose Incursions or the Order of the Triangle or the Church of, whatever. Okay. Let's see what else here. And you also got to understand too that the Freemasons are also penetrated with the Vatican, and we know about the Vatican, of how the bad stuff with the Vatican is, okay, on the bad end of it, okay? So you got to look at the good and bad on everything, okay? Let's see. All right, here's the thing. Okay, Carol has a question. Gabby's family hit issues too. Why did Gabby leave home? Why did she hit Brian? Imprinting during childhood, both of them had serious issues. Why? Because there's several. That's a big question because there's several different things in that one. I'll go to and we'll discuss. And I'll let you guys look at that a minute while we're posing the question. Here's the thing. Kids that are either sex or human trafficking, even adults that are involved with human trafficking, come from broken homes. That is a number one thing that they look for. Okay. Number two, they look for, especially if it comes to human trafficking or the sex rings and pedophile rings, they look for certain capabilities of what they're looking like on the outside, as well as what they're capable on the inside. For those that did research on human trafficking or sex rings or any of that other stuff, you have to look into what they look like. Now, I told you guys in past shows of Gabby's makeup that she had the perfect makeup, being blonde eye, blue eye, blonde hair, perfect makeup for human trafficking, because this was her body being young at 22 years old was a perfect acceptable timeline where she's in her prime for human trafficking. And what they do is they buy and sell and they ship to different countries like Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia loves blonde hair, blue-eyed, and brunettes, skinny and young and everything. And they, have them for their own, sex trafficking or their own thing, and human trafficking stuff. And then when they don't want them no more, they dispose of them to the other Eastern bad countries, like the I country and all them. It's worse than, what do they call it? A pimp. Okay. But yeah, so that was one thing. But what they're looking at is people that are emotionally and mentally unstable. Being that she came from a broken home, hit Brian the same way. They had their emotional, mental issues, which is their cosmetic makeup perfect for human trafficking and, the other stuff. What else was in that question? That was a big question here. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of problems in the whole situation. And if you guys look at the whole situation with the death of how they handled it, remember they said Gabby was being cremated, which is, their thing. Went to New York first, then I guess Florida, whatever. Same thing with Brian, I guess. It's like, here's the thing. if the family don't want any secrets to get out, they're going to definitely cremate the bodies. Which leads me back to the situation of the triangle. Remember, I showed you in past shows a triangular situation of finding where Brian was at, and I showed that with proof on my YouTube and my Twitch TV counts where he would be at. Here's the thing. I laid the seed. Since the 3-letter agency and our local police don't know how to do it, okay, I laid the seed out to put pressure on the families to see which one would break first. And it happened to be 12 hours after roughly 12 hours after I posted on one of my shows where I said I went out on Monday, but I didn't go into the reserve, but I knew where he was going to be at because of other things I found out when I was out, trying to find Brian, that he would be here. And I showed how I triangulated between his house, the reserve, and the creek, and pointed to where he'd be at, pretty much, and showed where, how to get there. Now, here's the thing. Why triangulate? Why? Because of the whole case having a bunch of FFs in it that I thought the whole case stunk. And the more we go down the tube and the more the lawyer comes out and talks about diarrhea and everybody else around here, and we're seeing new stuff being planted maybe in the park or in the creek or whatever, all kinds of crap are going to come out, right? Because they want to continue this. Why do they want to continue it? See, it's like this murder mystery thing, right? So it deals with triangulation. I said that in my whole investigation throughout all the past shows. If you guys didn't see my past shows, go into YouTube and go into Twitch TV. I tell you about stuff. I show you maps, everything. I've shown you stuff that other YouTube channels and people didn't ever show. But anyway, so I knew I had to do with a triangular formula. And that's why I pointed to the Freemasons, because the Freemasons deal with that. Okay? Now, here's the thing. You can have the Rosicrucians connected to the Church of Satan. We already know all three of them have met in Northport, Florida. All three of them. So there is a person living in Northport, Florida that's connected to all three of them. Or maybe several people. Okay? Now, here's the other thing. Knowing that the connection is connected to the Freemasons, okay, and that's a pyramid system, right? And for those who do multi-level marketing, you know what pyramid systems are, okay? You have to look at also, too, the reverse of it, the mirror part, okay? Let me show you something. Oops, not here. I'll have to show you on the other one. Hang on a minute. Oops. Hang on a minute. Bear with me. So we're talking about the Rosicrucians, the Freemasons, the Church of Satan, how all three of them met in Northport. Even the Order of the Triangle, which is part of the Freemasons, right? Okay. Well, here's another thing. Do you know that, there's a Jewish, place of worship, I guess, in Northport, right? So now we're going to add a Jewish temple thing. Okay, in Northport. Okay, so now we got 4, right? We've got, the Freemasons, the Rosicrucians, the Church of Satan, and the Jewish temple. Now remember, with current politics, okay, we have a good side and bad side to everything, right? Okay. All right. sorry about that. Let me go back here. So we're going to look at something, the Star of David. Knowing how it's like, we're going through this problem with politics right now in our current time with, seeing the crap going on with the Zions, right? Remember that Gabby had a sweatshirt on with Zion Park, National Park. They went to a church in Utah that was only a few miles away from a Bank of Zion. Okay. Now, people are like, okay, well, what's the Church of Zion, or what is that? What's Zionism? Hang on. I can't believe I'm doing this much on the show already. All right, and going this far with you guys, but we'll do it. So here is what they call Mount. There's different Zion churches. Okay. And there's a good side, there's a bad side, there's all kinds of different sides to Zionism. Zionism is also dealing with the Jewish belief system, okay? And they can also become a Freemason because there's, religious freedom in Freemasonism. As long as you believe in one supreme being, you're in. You know what I mean? So Zion Bank. So Zion Bank was a bank that was in Utah, a few miles away from where? The church that they visited. I'm not sure what the church was. I haven't really gotten down into that one. There's so much on this that a lot of people can't get into. I mean, we can if we got the time, but we don't. But here's my portrait, okay? All these groups, 4 groups I've talked about, are global. They can move and run around anything, anywhere, in any country, of any place, of any small, large, or larger town. Okay? They can follow and track. Now, who's connected to all this? Okay? Well, let's connect up the politicians. Okay? There's a lot of Democrats, right? No matter what, the father thinks, and if he's Democrat, and Brian happened to be Democrat, which I'm probably pretty sure he was Democrat, have the interconnections with all this stuff. You also got to look at, too, his social media account that had the connections to Black Lives Matter and Greenpeace. Those are grassroots Democrat groups. They're grassroots Democrat groups. Okay. So this is why we're not getting any information from our 3-letter agency or the Northport Police, because why? They're part of all this. Now, who yet? I don't know. I'm going to need help from all the YouTubers out there that are in Northport to find the connection between any member of the Northport Police and any member on the 3-letter agency that investigated this case, to see if they have a connection to the Democrats or any of these 4 different groups, whether it's the Zions, the Freemasons, the Rosicrucians, the Church of Satan, or the Order of the Triangle. Okay? Any connections at all. See if they're a member of them, of those groups. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups to see if they're members of. So I'm going to post this show in my YouTube channel, and you put it in the comment area if you found someone. If you did, give me your email and I will investigate it further. Or you can put it in the actual comment area, your choice. But this is why we're not going to hear a lot of important information that needs to come out, and why this case is being covered up, and why this case is being smeared off the books. They didn't think they would get caught in a little town, and guess what? We caught them. Now, the reason is who did it, which one of them, and what's their connection to any of this, as well as what were they covering up that might have been on that hard drive, and amongst other stuff. Also, too, I also have to tell you something else. Brian was also on his trip. There was reports in his social media account that he was selling what do you call magic mushrooms, or mushrooms from the cow patties or something. I guess they have some kind of psychological effect to you or something. I don't know much about it. Magic mushrooms. But something very weird in my investigation came across my trail, and they call it like a psychedelic mushroom. And being that they are somewhat spiritualist in their own realms, whether it's dealing with the dark arts or the white arts or whatever kind of arts they happen to be dealing with, there was something, and knowing that Brian followed TikTok, there was something about psychedelic mushrooms. He could be buying, selling them on the way through the United States to make funds for themselves. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, he could have been taking them. He got, could have gotten crazy and psychedelically weird out, you know what I'm saying, from the whole thing, and killed Gabby that way. We don't know now, you know what I'm saying? But there was reports in the TikTok account, I believe it was, that I saw that he was, someone was saying that, he was dealing with psychological or psyche kind of drug thing that dealt with mushrooms. Now, there is groups that do this stuff. They call it the Holy Grail. Now, if this is something that the Freemasons do on the bad side, or the bad side of any of these groups, I could see, the connections there. You know what I mean? But we'll have to report on that another day on that to give you more effects of what's going on that and the connections too. But this is all I can give you for today. So if you guys got any information, put it in my comment area, and please share. I will put this in my Twitter. And like I say, I don't have, written links to my stuff. It's verbally, so that's why it's important verbally that you get my information of where you find all this other stuff, okay? And then you guys connect the dots, I think there's enough of you guys out there, especially in Northport now. They're starting to open up and, kind of have an open mind on stuff. And, whether it's witchcraft or something else, you got to know your enemy to deal with the holy war. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. So this is Boho with the info. You just never know. Oh, and the Gematria thing, man. All right, we're going to have to go down another day on this, on the Gematria. But I found some interesting coincidences on this one too. So we'll go back to that on another show with him. Anyway, this is Boho with the info. We got to go. There's more stuff coming in. There's more stuff I got to read. I need time. And we'll come back to you on another show on more stuff that I feel the connections to this case that they are not saying to the public and trying to cover up on. Anyway, this is Boho with the info. We're over and out. We'll see you next time.